Get ready to embark on an incredible journey of faith and perseverance as we follow the story of a young boy who, despite being deaf from birth, encountered the impossible when he drowned in a river on a family vacation. Brace yourself as he travels beyond this world, meets his ancestors and his guardian angel, and receives a message that will change his life forever. Join us as we uncover the incredible telepathic communication he experienced with his ancestors and discover how he transcended his physical limitations to live a life of purpose and meaning. This is a story of resilience, love, and the power of God's grace, and we can't wait to share it with you. Welcome to Peculiar Stories, where we explore the fascinating world of near-death experiences and offer new perspectives on the meaning of life and death. Our goal is to shed light on these profound stories, deepen your understanding of life, and provide valuable insights to our audience. Whether you're new here or simply joining us again, we're thrilled to have you on this journey. If you enjoy what we do, consider subscribing to our channel to stay updated on our latest content, and don't forget to hit the like button to help our content reach a wider audience. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to be transported to the edge of life and beyond. Without further ado, let's get to the story. My brother begged and cajoled my mother and my other two sisters into going to the Carmel River one summer when the temperature was over 105 degrees. My mother was a little apprehensive about going, but she recognized the need to get away from Texas's oppressive heat. We visited Como River, which is close to New Braunfels, Texas. I'll keep the story short. Teenagers from Texas swarmed over the fence in the hundreds, if not thousands, and disregarded the danger signs. A few teenagers jumped at least 20 feet into the river from the bridge. That time, the heat was truly intolerable. Imagine people hobbling to avoid the discomfort of burning bare feet as they walked on hot rocks or a hot sidewalk. Friends or family members could easily become separated by the water's currents and end up lost somewhere in the river. When I was around 10 years old, I was pulled to the side and grabbed the sidewalk before climbing the ladder to exit. After that, I unsuccessfully looked for my brother or sisters. I moved on to a smaller, farther dam that seemed less hazardous than the first one. I made the decision to cross the small dam, which was being heavily flooded. I estimate that the water falling down was between 4 and 6 feet high because the algae was so slick. I walked and fell. I was a pretty good swimmer, despite being acutely aware of the water's strong current. I did not panic. I made an effort to swim away from the current as I descended the waterfall. I attempted to swim away after becoming entangled in an undertow current. I couldn't figure out how to get out. I was unable to distinguish between up, down, right, and even left. I froze and was terrified of what had happened. In the water, I screamed for assistance as I worried about my mother and my family. My breathing stopped completely when water entered my mouth. My brain shut down on me, and my body felt incredibly cold around me. Everything was pitch black. Is that the death experience? My body questioned. That's it? I then fell asleep when the electrical ticking jolt struck my feet and spread up to my head. My body was in awe of the sensation. My life was immediately displayed as a rolling year-by-year, person-by-person flashing movie. When I was born, my mother's lovely face was flashed for the first time in my life, and it was my favorite flashing. I was unaware of my mother's depth of affection for me. The second flash was when I was playing with my sister and brother and felt particularly close to them. My father throwing my body into the air, a lot of laughter, and a perplexed feeling flashed on the third occasion. Then the rolls got faster and faster, and I could feel stars popping all over my body and head. It seemed so surreal. Then I noticed the tunnel's light bursting toward me. My soul or spirit got sucked into the light tunnel. Through the light tunnel, I flew. Even today, I could still recall the sensation. The only description I have is that it was almost exactly like the movie Contact, a newly constructed ball spacecraft plummeting into a massive gyro space machine. The actress immediately entered the tunnel and could see outer space from her ball space shuttle. I observed that while being accelerated through the tunnel, due to the transparency of the tunnel, I could see some of the universe. Such an awesome sensation traveling at the speed of light through the tunnel. I floated my body close to the boundary and reached it. I was astounded at how much weight was removed from my shoulders due to the numerous absurd rules and laws that were imposed on a citizen. It was lifted off my shoulders when I realized, for the first time, how much servitude we were subject to from the state or societies. I was unable to adequately describe the experience, even as all of the light conscience of laws was present. It resembles how a hurricane concentrates all of its energy in its eye. The sensation of absorbing all real beings' knowledge and conscience into my body and mind is very similar. I'll give you one. When I got close to the line at the age of 10, I was able to understand, without explanation, that once I crossed the line, there was no turning back. I couldn't have been happier to cross. My ancestors on the other side of the boundary distracted me from my intended course of action. I noticed that they were speaking telepathically because of this. Since my hearing family members were all hearing when I was born, they were all sign language users. I possessed the ability to read or speak telepathically with my own and about 20 other people's ancestors. I was overcome by it. I was astounded by how many people I could telepathically communicate with at once. I noticed a mysterious neighborhood with landscape and buildings that were obviously constructed by a supernatural builder rather than by people. The megacity was almost flawless and flawlessly perfect. My ancestors helped me visualize the ideal metropolis. When I arrived at the boundary, one of my grandmothers, great-grandmothers, or even great-great-grandmothers was surprised and perplexed. They all expressed shock and surprise that I had shown up. They did not at all anticipate my arrival. However, they welcomed me over with open arms. My ancestor asked telepathically,
"Why is he here?"
"I'm surprised too," I said.
Is he supposed to be here right now?
I believe that his time would come soon, but not now.
My eyes were open to our new future when another jumped in, radiantly full of love and joy to see me there. Even trying to put what I saw into words was impossible. Sorry, my word choice is poor. Within a split second,
What are you doing here?
an angel sternly questioned as he walked up to me. I was astonished by his inquiry. When I first caught a glimpse of my guardian angel, I immediately knew that he had been present when my mother gave birth to me, had shared the joy, and had declared that my birth had been successfully completed. In his listing, I felt so inspired as I regarded him. I was so close to him, but he moved me back a step.
What happened?
He telepathically questioned me. I didn't care what happened because I was happy, filled with love, and overflowing with joy. I immediately wanted to cross the line. My angel firmly walked up to me, scanned me, and saw through me that I had drowned. I was so shocked that he was able to figure it out without speaking to me by scanning through me,
Your time is not up now.
said my personal guardian angel firmly.
You need to complete some unfinished business. Come back.
I initially shrugged and tried to slink up next to him. He moved swiftly and extended his hand in my direction. The light of the tunnel shot out of my eyes as I felt my body being pulled backward at an incredible rate. And I was violently slapped back into my body once more. Sensing my body, I wondered why I was still there. When I opened my eyes, I discovered that I had not moved from the water. However, I had the impression that I had stood straight and firmly. A voice said, without hesitation, I stood up straight. Suddenly, I felt a large hand wrap around my body, removing it from the fall current. I grabbed for control as my body was pushed to the edge of the terrain decks. My mouth poured all the water from my body onto the ground as I emerged from the water. I was astonished by how much water entered and exited my body. After that, my outlook in life changed drastically. I immediately realized I would never be the same person again. I had never seen my life ahead of me, and the shocks of emotion that I felt made me want to spit water out of my mouth. I felt almost all of nature's people around me because I was so overcome with hope and love. I never shared what happened with my mother, brother, or sisters. I was reminded from deep within to keep quiet about the situation. I only sensed a more enlightening feeling enveloping me. There is no way on earth to adequately explain such an incredible experience. I had the impression that the twilight door and the sixth or seventh dimension door were right in front of me as the future developed in front of me. I had numerous dreams and visions, some of which were comforting and others which were terrifying. I will stop here. By the way, when I was about 31 years old, my parents, brother, and sisters learned about my experience. Simply put, I thought it was the right moment to share my news. My mother was devastated, and it really got to her. My sisters ran after seeing me and hugged me. She found it impossible to imagine life without me. I merely grinned. That's it for today's story. I will see you in the next one.